I'm writing this one-time dream journal because I'm not sure where the dream ends and reality begins anymore. This is my last effort to separate the two and regain some notion of mental peace. I awoke that night in a panic. I wasn't in my home anymore. I was in a small, dimly lit room, the floor made of solid concrete, the walls constructed sturdily of red brick. It didn't take me long to notice the man seated not even a foot away from my own chair. His haggard frame, clothed in what looked like a grimy suit, was slouched just in front of me, his head down so that I couldn't make out his features. It also didn't take long for me to notice that I was bound to the chair by tight, sturdy ropes. A burst of panic surged through my body as my situation became evident. As I struggled and squirmed in my seat, I noticed that the man had been tied at one point too, though his ropes were cut. Was he dead? Was I next? I struggled for a few minutes longer, but stopped and stared across the room in fear as I heard the lock of a heavy metal door that I did not see before. Inside stepped a woman, tall and lean, clad in a stunning black dress. What I could see of her looked perfect, but as her head seemed to rest just out of reach of the ambient light, I couldn't see her face. She crossed the room painfully slow, toward the slouched man's chair, and eventually rested her hands on the back of the chair. Her long, red nails tapped a light rhythm on the back of the man's chair. I stared fearfully towards where I estimated the woman's face to be, and felt my heart beating faster and faster as she just continued to tap away, the situation maddening as nothing happened. The woman just kept tapping, and the man remained stoic in his slumped pose. Finally, I blurted out, trying my best to sound authoritative. But all that came out was a meager and fearful, "What do you want from me?" The only response I received was the tapping of the woman's crimson nails building in speed, my head beginning to throb at the sound. I began to scream as the sound pierced my eardrums, impossibly loud as the pace built and built. Finally, something gave between the maddening tapping and my violent struggles as my chair tipped backward and hit the ground hard, my head lashing back and slamming into the concrete floor. As my head hit the floor in the dream, I awoke with a start. I breathed heavily for a few moments before finally letting out a sigh, wiping away some of the profuse sweat from my brow, shivering as the cold sweat continued to run down the rest of my body. I looked over to my alarm clock. The glowing red letters reading 3 o'clock right on the nose. I slowly settled back down into my bed, smiling and enjoying the wonderful feeling one gets when they awake from a horrible nightmare into the safety of their own bed. Then came the tapping. If you would like to see what kind of shenanigans I get up to when I'm not on YouTube, you can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. Thank you for tuning in. Good night.